something new.
And to your question, Paul, about no TV deal today, but there was the Athletic article by Max Olson and Nicole Auerbach, just sort of exploring some of the things that have been out there. UConn and the Big 12. They talked about that a bit, and just sort of what the scuttlebutt is there. I don't know how realistic that is. I know there seemed to be a lot in the comments, kind of a split crowd on how much sense that makes, adding UConn, just the geography of it and what they've been through. And, they were previously in the American, and do they want to go play UCF again? Is that really, but if the money's right, yeah, probably right. So, it was interesting just to kind of dive a little further into that, which they did. They talked about, a couple of other things as well. But, yeah, mostly it's just the same thing. It's a holding pattern for a TV deal that could change all the other things.
Is this UConn for basketball only, or is this UConn for basketball? Aren't they independent in football right now?
I believe so. And, no, I think this would be the whole meal deal because Yormark has said before, I believe, that they would not add anybody that has a football team just for basketball only. So that would, mean that UConn with a football team would be entering as a member. That's the way I took it, at least. And if there was language in there that said otherwise, then correct me. But you do recall that, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
When he said that they're not adding, they're not adding a football school in basketball only. So UConn would be a member of both. And it mentioned Jim Mora and the success last year that the Huskies had in the article, maybe as a way to kind of say, maybe it wouldn't be too bad. But, yeah, that's something that's out. There's nothing imminent. There's nothing, coming down the pipeline. It's just simply exploring.
Yeah, they're independent in football.
If we are talking about making better TV matchups, UConn in basketball is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
UConn in football is never going to I hate using that word, is more than likely never going to move the needle against anybody in the Big 12. UConn versus Texas Tech does not have 6:30 kickoff in the primetime spot written all over it.
But it does in basketball.
It does in basketball for sure, but in football it doesn't, and that's
why I was asking, because I've seen kind of that discussion.
Well, that's what they talk about. That's what they bring up is, that's a part of the conversation that you have to have. But, I'm just going off of what was simply said from the very beginning. They're not going to add a basketball school with a football team and not add the football team as well. So maybe they change their mind. Nothing's set in stone, obviously. This is all very loosey-goosey type of stuff, the talk at least it is. So, maybe, that's something that they could agree on in a different way. I did have the thought, though, and I know this isn't a revenue generator, but they could sure as hell use UConn women's in basketball.
Yeah.
You look at the league, and Baylor's not quite what it was. You've got Texas and Oklahoma leaving, and, Oklahoma's starting to get pretty good again, and, Texas is a solid team year in and year out. So to add UConn in women's basketball, and I know it's not bringing in bunches of money, but if you're just talking about exposure and what it could bring to the table and things of that nature, then yeah, on the hoop side, they would be a tremendous addition. But there is a lot of question marks, and it covered that, I think, in the comments section and in the article of this isn't some layup that's going to happen for sure. It's something that Yormark's just looking at. Because of the proximity to New York City and things like that. So we'll see.
And there's the home of ESPN right there next to them in Bristol, Connecticut. Here's a really cool